to use. Also, if you feel free to email me after this session. If I don't answer your questions in the chat or whatever, feel free to email me at kdavis@ket.org, and also follow me on Twitter for the latest things going on at KET. Today's goals, this is what we're going to try to accomplish today. We're going to talk about what is news media literacy, why teach it, ways to teach it, ways to incorporate it across the curriculum, and then I'm going to give you guys a page of resources that will help you, that you can explore on your own, that will have more information than you could possibly ever digest and actually get to use with your students. But it's great to have more information than you need, than not enough information. So what is news literacy? And by the way, that first slide, this is my only attempt at being creative today. I put a little face mask on for the first slide, but I take it off in the rest of the slides. So what is news media literacy? And this is the definition of what it is, media literacy. And what I want to emphasize here is we need to teach media literacy for students to access, analyze, evaluate, and also importantly, working for KET when they're creating media, they need to know the rules and what to do when creating media as well, and for all forms of communication. And then news media literacy basically is the ability to use critical thinking skills to judge the reliability and credibility of news information that they see or hear, whether that be print, television, internet, radio, any way that they receive the news. They need to be able to critique it and say, hey, is this credible or is this not credible? And also I wanted to emphasize that I found this on schooljournalism.org, that the best way, and it's just another definition of what news literacy is, but I like this quote because it emphasizes that it should be taught cross-curricular and inquiry-based formats at all grade levels. Not just high school teachers teach it, but all grade levels should be teaching it. And then why teach news media literacy? And I just found a few quotes and different things that I like to tell you why that you should teach it. But I really like this. I found this website, Young African Leaders Initiative, and I put their a URL up there because I really like the information on that site, or some of the information I found. But these skills, when you teach media literacy, you teach the kids to ask relevant questions, explore multiple viewpoints, and make novel connections. And I like that he said these skills will do you well whatever your pursuit in life is, whether it's in the classroom or in the boardroom. So I think when we equip students to be media literate and teach them how to evaluate media, that it really helps them in all areas of life. And then I found these two quotes that I really like. One by Thomas Jefferson, that in order to survive as a free people, we need educated citizens. And then Franklin Delano Roosevelt basically said the same thing. So these leaders have seen the need for to teach and to educate people. The world's just changed a lot since they made those statements of what we need to educate them for. And then if that's not enough, just do it for the kids, because we've already established that if this is a skill that your students really need, whether it be your little bitties like I have on the left, or whether it be your high school students. And for those of you guys that are around middle and high school students, I'm sure that second picture looks very familiar to you. You even go out in a restaurant now and everybody's sitting at the table, including the adults usually, have their head stuck in a phone. So this is the bulk of the presentation today, is the ways to teach news media literacy. And like I said, I probably put more resources in here than you actually even want to know about, or that we will cover today. But you can go back and look at them on your own time, or if we get done a little bit early today, you can go in and use that time to look at some of these resources. I think it's important as teachers, and we're going to talk in just a few minutes about the lingo and the vocab that you need to teach your students to look for in media literacy, news media literacy. But these are some questions that I think as teachers that I am often guilty of myself when I talk to young people. I have a 12-year-old granddaughter, and I question myself on this sometimes. Do I, as a teacher, do I let my prejudices and biases and my echo chambers and all those things we're going to talk about in just a moment, do I let those things affect how I teach or what I am telling someone? And I think also that you need to keep in mind that students need to form their own opinions. It's great if students, in our own minds, we feel good if once they form that opinion, if it's the opinion we think they should have. But at the end, we need to let them form their own opinions and critique and get the news as they can analytically process it and stuff. And so in the end, we have to ask ourselves, do we want our students to be analytical, or are we teaching our students more to be cynical? And that's an easy line to cross when teaching media literacy, because there is so much bad information out there. You could just say, well, you just can't believe anything you hear or see online. And that's going to cause your students to be cynical instead of analytical. This little chart right here came from Common Sense Media, and we're going to talk about Common Sense Media just a little bit. In a moment, I'm going to go to their website and show you some things on there. If you could pop in the chat if you are real familiar with Common Sense Media or not, so I'll kind of know how much to go into it. I don't know how much Hardin County Schools uses Common Sense Media. But I really, really like it. And they've also got a ton of good information in there about virtual learning and virtual schools and how to do what you guys are faced with right now. But one thing on this chart so some of you guys are saying that you've visited it, but you guys don't use it as a district. Okay, well, I'm going to show you guys some things today in there I think you will really, really like. Because you guys, I'm not envious right now of school personnel at all, because I know you guys have got more on your plate right now than I could even conceive to have. So hopefully, and I actually made this presentation a little bit, I fixed it so that I thought, I didn't want you guys, when you go away from my session, saying, oh, just one more thing I need to teach. So hopefully I will not overwhelm anyone with all this information. I've tried really hard to not make this presentation this way. But this little chart that they put out, and this was put out in 2017, and it's from, they interviewed and surveyed ages 10 to 18. And I like what I've got circled here in the red. It says 44% of children feel that they can tell fake news stories from real ones. Okay, let's get real. What in Hardin County, what percentage of you guys students do you feel like could tell a fake news story from a real news story at this point? I would feel like that the percentage would be much lower that can actually tell a fake news story. I'm going to say the adults, not 44% of the adults, or at least the adults that's on my Facebook and stuff can tell the difference between the two. And then what's scary is 31% say that they went ahead and shared out something thank you, Jessica, I agree, not many. But 31% went ahead and shared out something that they later found was fake news. I also, this part of the chart right here, I really like that it's to let you know how important you are as teachers of your students, that 63% still say that they get most of their information from family, teachers, and friends. So that was good. At least they're not getting, but 49% say they do get it off of social media, and then just 46% off of traditional media. So that little chart, you can spend a whole workshop just unpacking this chart and seeing what else on it. But I like to mention those two things. This is the Young African Leaders Initiative that I was telling you guys about. This is linked out to their website, and I really like the 5 core concepts that they say are behind teaching media literacy. And this goes right along with what we at KET teach in our, I don't know if anybody's on here right now that has been to one of my video production or media arts trainings, but this goes right along with what we say and teach in there. And this website, all these things are linked in the slides, so you can go to these and unpack these websites more. But it is important to let students know, or to teach students, that all media messages are constructed. They're just like highways or buildings or anything else. Someone has put them together with a concept to have a final product. And so they need to keep that in mind. I love that media messages are constructed using a creative language with its own rules. For example, in our video production workshop, I teach, if you want to scare people, you heighten the music, scary music, and play scary music in the background. Camera close-ups. You can use the camera in so many ways to affect people's emotions. We teach the students in our video production workshops, if you want to make someone look powerful and strong, you get low for that subject and point the camera up at them. If you want them to look weak and pitiful, you get above them and point the camera down at them. And these kind of techniques really work effectively when done as they should be. They need to understand the grammar, the syntax, the metaphors of the language that's being used. And then number 3, different people experience the same message differently. I know you guys experience that quite often. You could teach the same lesson to a group of students, and they would all, if you had 25 students in your class, they would all interpret the message a little bit differently. Media has embedded values and points of view. No matter how hard you try to leave those out of something, we're human. So that goes back to number 1. These were constructed by someone. So they will have someone's values and points of view in there, just a little bit, even the best you can do. And then most, and this is important for students to know, most media messages are organized to gain profit and or power. Very few things are created without one of those 2 things in mind. And as we've already pointed out to the students, they are created from people. Someone created them, so they have to keep this in mind as well. And I don't want to read the slides, you guys. You can go back and look exactly what they said, but that's the basis of the 5 concepts that you need to teach students when you are teaching them media literacy, to make sure that they understand all of these things. 5 ways to spot media literacy. This is a video that is found inside, or this is one of Common Sense videos. I think we have it in PBS Learning Media as well. If you're not familiar with PBS Learning Media, I'm doing the next session on PBS Learning Media, so please pop in and see. It's a great tool for you guys to use during these virtual times, as well as for in-school. And I'm happy to report when the schools went on NTI last year, and I want to thank my Hardin County media specialist for this. Hardin County had the biggest increase in usage of PBS Learning Media. I think that any other district in the state, like after March 18th, after everyone went into NTI mode. So thank you guys for getting that information out there. I'm going to let you guys go back. I'm going to try not to show much video today. There's a lot of sound issues a lot of times with video. So I'm going to go ahead and move on, but you guys go back and watch this video. I stuck that in there for you guys in case you want to watch it. Here's a little activity that I put in here. This is just a chart that I found. You can make your own chart, but I thought it was a good activity that I found that would be simple and easy to do with your students. Pick a question related to something you're covering in class or something you see online, and then have your students to go and find source or sources that provide an answer to that question, and which of these things and this is the chart that I used, did they use to decide if that source is credible or not. One reason I really like this site is ask the experts. Did you go ask the librarian if that fact was true? Did you consult a fact-checking site to see if that was true? Is it satire? And we're going to talk about that just in a little bit. On my Facebook, it is amazing how many people put things from Babylon Bee and the different satire sites on there that actually were meant to be a joke. And people read it and take it. Did you check the date? Did you make sure that it's in date? Because people will spread old stories and make them look relevant to the time. Did you consider the source? Did you read beyond? That goes to the lateral reading that we need to emphasize so much right now. Don't just read one story. Don't be a vertical reader with your information, but be a lateral reader where you open 2 or 3 tabs at the same time, and you are going back and forth and seeing if the information jives out with each other and what credible sources, what the really credible sources say. These are also posters that I found that I really like this one for the younger students. It is harder to find stuff for younger students on media literacy, but I really like this one. And then this one as well. You can grab these posters off of Common Sense Media free of charge. There's lots of posters on there that you can go and find and use with your students. This is a lesson in PBS Learning Media. Why is fake news so? And yes, Kelsey, I'm sorry. There is a link to the presentation, and I'll put that back up at the finish of the presentation. Why is fake news so effective? This is a lesson, an interactive lesson that you can go in PBS Learning Media. And I want to take this time, even though this is not a PBS Learning Media session, I do want to show this to you guys for the ones that are not in the next session. If I like this lesson, all I've got to do is go in and launch the lesson, and then it will take the students through page at a time what they need to do. Here it talks about conspiracy theories, different things. But what I want to show you guys, if you like this lesson and you want your students to do this lesson because they can take notes and it asks them questions and stuff, with the click of one button, and this is true of everything in PBS Learning Media now, you can share it to your Google Classroom. So I can hit share to Google Classroom. I don't have any set up, needless to say, I'm not in a school, and then it lets you choose your class, it lets you put instructions, whatever that you want to do. So that's a real easy way if you look through this lesson and you like it. Here is this one related. Something you might also like is the 5 ways to spot fake news, which we just talked about. So I did want to share that and show you guys that. So if you share this out to the teachers, make sure that, or you use it in your classroom, make sure that you show them the feature that they can just share it out to their Google Classroom, which is very, very nice. So that is a lesson I put in there for you guys. Here is another, this one, I think I got this one off of YouTube. I'm not sure that this one is actually in PBS Learning Media, but it is fake news, the 5 C's. There's a lot of the 5 whatever, the 4 whatever, like the 5 concepts I showed you on that site earlier. But this one does it down to the 5 C's. and it explains that look at the context, the credibility, the construction, the corroboration, and compare. And compare goes back to the lateral reading once again. So, and this is linked. I'll go ahead and see if this one and see if you guys sound. If the sound's really bad, guys, let me know in chat and I will stop it.
With digital tools, it is easier than ever to create, edit, and publish your work to the world. But there's a cost. It's also easier than ever to spread misinformation, and fake news has become a real issue in recent times. We see this with students. According to a Stanford study, only 25% of high school students were able to identify an accurate news story compared to a fake one. Students also had a hard time distinguishing between real and fake photographs, as well as authentic and staged videos. Researchers use the words bleak and dismaying to describe this, but it's not going away anytime soon, and that's a very real problem. So how do we fix it? Well, here's a 5-step process that I've used with students. A word of caution, it's not perfect, and there are probably other models out there, but I thought I would share it just in case you might want to use it. We call it the 5 C's of critical consuming. Number 1, context. Look at the context of the article. When was it written? Where does it come from? Have the events changed since then? Is there any new information that could change your perspective? Number 2, credibility. Check the credibility of the source. Does the site have a reputation for journalistic integrity? Does the author cite credible sources? Is it satirical? Is it on the list of fake news sites? Is it actually an advertisement posing as a real news story? Number 3, construction. Analyze the construction of the article. What is the bias? Are there any loaded words, any omissions, any propaganda techniques? Can you distinguish between the facts and the opinions? Or is it merely a bunch of speculation? Number 4, corroboration. Corroborate the information with other credible news sources. Make sure it's not the only source making this claim. And if it is, there's a good chance it's not actually true. Number 5, compare. Compare it to other news sources to get a different perspective. Find other credible sources from other areas of the ideological or political spectrum to provide nuance and get a bigger picture of what's actually going on. When we teach students media literacy and they learn how to consume critically, they learn how to think critically. And critical thinking citizens are good for democracy. And that, well, that's good for everyone.
Okay, and as you guys can see, that covers it pretty well right there, and that's something that you can use with your students as well. While that was playing, I put the link to the slide presentation in the chat for the ones that were asking for that, so you guys can check that out. Then this, I hate wordy slides, and I apologize. I know this is against the cardinal rules of creating slides, but there was just some things that I feel like as a teacher that you need to make your students, the vocabulary that you need to be teaching your students, the words fake news, lateral reading is so important, satire, and I also linked this site that goes out and shows 7 of the most widely used satire sites that go in and pretty much make fun of the news, but then yet it gets spread as real news, like the Onion, the Spoof, Civilian, Daily Mash. There's just this is the 7 most popular ones and the best ones that's their claim that they are. So I'll put that in there for you guys as well. Deep fakes, we're going to talk about that again in just a little bit. That's probably to me one of the scariest things that has come along is the deep fakes, and that's actually, for you guys that haven't heard of it yet, which I'm sure most of you guys probably have, that's when you can put my face and someone else can make me say anything they want me to say, and that is being done some now. The technologies, it's the artificial intelligence technologies, and they are being developed so quickly that they're actually becoming pretty good at it. I think it's important for the students to know propaganda, and then also for the students to know native advertising. And we'll talk about that just a little bit in a minute too. And then this is what I kind of referred to at the start of the session, our echo chambers, our filter bubbles, and our confirmation bias. And that is, we all have them. It's just to what extent do we have them. No matter how hard we try, we can't help but have these. And you need to be careful that you don't project these onto your students. And that sometimes is hard to do. And in today's world, and I make it a rule, I never get into politics in any of my sessions. But with today's world where we're so polarized and students hear, one thing from their parents, and then other students are hearing just the opposite from their parents, it makes for it really difficult to try to learn, to teach this stuff and to help kids understand and value other people's opinions, and not get too far down into your echo chambers and filter bubbles that you can't listen to other people. I think that's one of our big problems in the U.S. right now. This is just a little activity I found with the native advertising. Can you spot it? This is basically where you take a real, like, Stanford history education group, which people would think, oh, that's great. And then you see right here the real reasons women don't teach tech, but that's sponsored content. So that's going to have a real bias to it, because whoever sponsored that is going to try to get you, when you read it, to think the way that they want you to think. So native advertising, this is just a little activity. I think there's 3 native advertisings in there that the students can pick out and find. This is so important to teach students, if nothing else, so they don't get hacked and viruses and all that kind of thing. But the Facebook, the like farming, you put images like this up and say, sadly, less than 2% of you will like and share this picture of brave Vietnam soldiers. So let's see how many likes and shares that it can get. So it plays on your emotions. And then you like it because you think, well, I support brave Vietnam soldiers or whatever. And then they use that information, all these different likes they get, they use it to spread malware and different things. So make your students aware of this. Also make your parents aware of this. Because I even have teacher friends occasionally on my Facebook that I see do things like this. This picture is kind of interesting, and we'll show this again in just a minute, but you can tell if you did a reverse image search on this picture, there's no Vietnam soldier that is, even if you don't know what movie this is from, they're not going to be, with a sleeveless vest and stuff out in the jungles in Vietnam. So that's just another little dead giveaway there on that one. And you can do a reverse image search on that and see where that comes from. And talking about that, one of the anecdotes to the photography is to do the reverse image search. This is a video from PBS LearningMedia. I think Common Sense might have actually done the video, but it's in PBS LearningMedia. And then this is from 10i, and this is another lesson that I put in there that you guys can use with your students. But on the reverse image search, when you right click on a picture, when you are on a computer, it's different on mobile devices, and it's different on each one of them. So I apologize that I didn't put, because like I said, you'll just have to Google it, because it's different on every platform. It's different on every version of every platform. One thing I do recommend, though, for mobile devices is to download, to have the Google Chrome app. It makes it much easier to do it if you have the Google Chrome app actually on your mobile device. Usually, if you do that, you can touch the picture, and this menu similar to this one right here will come up, and you can do these same things. But as you can see with this image right here, all I would have to do is right click it and then hit search image, or search Google for image. So I'm going to go ahead. I've got this. This is actually, and this is something you guys, this is another little plug for KET. But this is something that KET aired just a few days ago. You can find it on our website about, and talk to some superintendents and some experts about the reopening of schools. But I'm going to do, we're actually in my Facebook now, so I can right click on my picture and I can say, search Google for image. And it will bring up my image. And I thought it was very interesting that it brought up a lot of the LED backlit LCDs, which was interesting. But then if you scroll on down, it did its job. It took me and it told me this video came from KET. And you can see the different, and this was on Kentucky Tonight, and we start a lot of our programs the same. So it picked up several of our Kentucky Tonights with Renee Shaw and her back to it and stuff. So that is one way that you can do it. You can also, if I right click on the picture, I can say copy image address. And so I did that, and then I'm going to go back, and you can go to, and I link this to Google reverse image search. So I can go to Google Images, and I don't know if you guys have ever noticed this before, but when you go to Google Images, you can go to the little camera icon and search for images. And if you have an image URL, you can just Control-V that into there and search for that. And once again, it's going to bring me up to the exact same results as I did search Google for image. So that's two of the ways that you can do it. You can also, with the little camera, you can drag, if you have something saved on your desktop, you can just drag it over there and it will search the image, or you can upload an image and it will give you the same results. So those are 4 ways that you can teach your students. A lot of those ways they're probably not going to take the time to do, but the best thing to do is just right-click the image and search Google for image, and you will see if your image is legitimate or not, or where that image actually came from and what the purpose of the image was for. I feel like I'm going really fast, so if you guys have any questions, please. I can't see my chat, my participants on my screen because I'm sharing my screen, so I opened up my iPad as well, so I'm watching chat. If you guys see me looking to the side, I'm watching chat as well. So if you have any questions, just pop them in chat and I'll stop and answer it the best I can. This is the deep fake technology that we talked about, and I actually... this image, I actually hyperlinked that to this site that had some really good stuff on deep fakes. I will tell you that some of the video, and you guys might have heard of the video before and stuff, this one right here, where they had Obama saying a lot of things, of course, that he didn't say, but it has a lot of bad language in it as well. So don't pull that one up with your students. It's a really good example, but I'm not even going to show it to you guys. You guys can go back and look at it later, but don't use that one with your students. But we did hyperlink one here to deep fakes. And if it pulls up real quickly, this is actually
some people used to mock former President George W. Bush, saying that he wasn't the sharpest tool in the shed. If you need proof, they could point to that picture of him holding a children's book upside down. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. Well, actually, you can. And someone did. Here's the real photo. And this kind of trickery didn't start with Photoshop. Phony photos and doctored videos have been around for a long time. Check out this iconic image of Lincoln from the 1860s. Looks heroic, huh? Well, it's really only part Lincoln. His head, to be exact. The body belongs to John C. Calhoun, who, fun fact, was a big-time racist and slavery proponent. This print wasn't outed as fake for almost a century. And today, we have so-called deep fakes. Deep fakes are videos that have been manipulated using fancy AI technology. This tech can scale, rotate, or splice videos and images together to create new videos that can be very different from the original. And social media platforms like YouTube help to spread this kind of fake media, partially because of the ease and speed of sharing. But so far, they aren't really owning their big part in this era of deepfakes. Since according to the Pew Research Center, 85% of teens use YouTube and 2/3 of all Americans get at least some of their news from social media platforms.
We're entering an era in which our enemies can make it look like anyone is saying anything at any point in time, even if they would never say those things.
This fake PSA got a ton of media coverage back in 2018. Jordan Peele and BuzzFeed created.
Now that is the video that actually, and I like that they just cut it out so you can actually use this. That's the video that goes on, and it has cursing and
reproducing
a
President
lot of bad
Obama's
stuff in
voice
it.
and image. While Peele's fake isn't perfect, it's good enough to freak out anyone worried about the spread of fakes in the near future. So in this era of deep fakes, how can you tell fact from fiction?
And then it goes on to explain, and I'm not going to go into all that, but it's a really good one to show your students. If you're not aware of that, go back and watch that one. And this website is also a good source of information. And then we also put this one in here, a report that CNN Business did that shows some of the deep fakes that have been done. Okay, and then here is another one. I know she's adorable, isn't she? That's my youngest granddaughter. But the reason I put this in here is it is so easy now to go in and manipulate photos and then put those photos or whatever in videos. There is a little website here that you can, there's a paid version and you can do a lot more. I don't have the paid version. And I hyperlinked it there, and you just go in and say upload image, and I can go into my pictures here, and I can grab this image of my granddaughter with a sea lion that when she got to visit a water park where they went, and automatically, just like that, I can take, and now I can put her anywhere that I want her to go. So I can save that now, and then she can go in my slides, or she can go anywhere that I want her to go. So I could copy that image, and I could go back over to my slides, and I could, let's see, wait a minute. Okay, there it is. So I actually put her in the ocean with her sea lion with just an easy click of the button like that on remove.bg. So that's a little tool you might want to check out. We use that one in the media arts. It comes in really handy as well. So if you want a picture for your Google Slides or whatever, but you want them to just fit back into the background, you can use that tool for that as well. And like I said, it's just called remove.bg. Really good tool to know about, but it also adds to fake media. Okay, and then green screen. We talk about green screen a lot in our trainings that we do. This is a really good video that shows some of the major movies that have been done and how these players are probably just in a concrete studio somewhere, and all this was green screened in. So green screen is making it really easy to spread fake news. We also have the Media Arts Toolkit. And I've got that linked, and that can be found in PBS Learning Media. And you will see here the different things, creating media arts, media art artworks in the classroom, some different things, and we're adding to this all the time. So check out our Media Arts Toolkit as well. And then this is something I just threw in here for one reason, to emphasize this is a great site for more media literacy stuff, museumed.org. But this is a cool little activity that you can do with students about Goldilocks and the Three Bears. And this, everything you need to do the lesson is found in the museum, but it makes a good point of these different headlines, how you could persuade different people to feel differently about what happened with Goldilocks and the Three Bears. So that's a good little activity I threw in there for you guys. Any questions in chat real quickly about the ways to teach, the things that I've put in there? I know I've put a lot of information in there, and it's probably information overload right now. And like I said, if you think of things later that you would like to ask me, or about resources and stuff later, feel free to email me. Now, ways to incorporate into the curriculum. This is just, and I'm not a classroom teacher anymore. I've been out of the classroom. I've been with KET now for 19 years now in June. But these, we add to these when we do workshops like this. We ask teachers, can you think of other ways that you can incorporate it into the curriculum? And a lot of these came from other teachers' ideas. Naturally, you can see where media literacy fits into social studies in lots and lots of ways. Practical living, you wouldn't think of that, but it's easy to incorporate that into like drug advertising, fact versus opinion, which a lot of people have trouble with that, and that needs to be taught more. Science, the cycles, the scientific method. Of course, we can see again where this could easily be taught in the language arts classroom and definitely in the media arts classroom. And then math, statistics, and how you persuade people by using numbers and different things. And we see on that subject, and like I said, I don't want to get into the political world or how you feel about COVID-19 or whatever, but we see so much manipulation going on right now with the COVID-19 and the different people trying to persuade and different things. So there's probably never been much better time to teach media literacy than right now. So that's just, and if you have any ideas, pop them in the chat or just email them to me later and I will add them to the bubble for that subject area. News media literacy sites for you and your students to use. I put lots of sites on here. This one is really cool. This is a site where you can go in and there's 7 fake news sites set up for you to use with your students so that your students can try and see and prove why these look for signs and stuff that these are fake news websites. And when you use this with the students, you don't need to tell them that they're fake news websites. You can just look at this news site. Do you think this is real? And if, why you do or why you do not. So that's a really good site. I actually got that from one of my media specialists in Barron County. I was doing a media literacy workshop over there before this all started. It was in person, and she came up to me after the workshop and she said, "Oh, I've got a really good site I want you to add to your presentation. I use it with the students all the time." And she said she had really good luck with it. And then this, if you think it is fake news, here you go. Here's all kinds of websites that you can go to investigate and see whether or not that it's fake news. And then also this came from, here's some more. This repeats some, but I really like some of these, like this opensecrets.org. So these, and I got this one from Common Sense Media Education as well. So these are some good sites that you can check out to see. And then this is, all of these are linked to the number of sites that I've talked about today that have really good information on news media literacy. I'm going to go in and like I said, all of them are linked, so you can go right in. But I'm going to go into Common Sense real quickly just to show you guys around just a little bit. So when you go into Common Sense Media, you can the tabs, and you can recommend this to your parents as well because they need this information as well. So you can show them there's a parent tab where they can go in and check, but there's also an educator tab. And once you go into the educator tab, this is what I was telling you guys about the tons of good information in here about the schools and teaching remotely and stuff. But to stick to what we're doing today, there's even coronavirus support on here. But we can go into the digital citizenship part of it. And once you do that, there is a digital citizenship curriculum. There's lesson plans. Here's where you find those classroom posters that I talked to you guys about earlier. There's toolkits for you guys. But if we go into the lesson plans, you can see, if my computer doesn't slow down, all the different areas of digital citizenship that you should be teaching, that we should all be teaching. And today I'm going to stick with news and media literacy because that's my topic today, but these other things have really good things as well. Media and well-being, this even has plans in it like for kindergarten because media so affects everyone's life now. But if you go into news and media literacy, it will, and it also has, this is just media balance is important, but you can go in here and find is seeing believing for 3rd grade, as creators' rights and responsibilities for 4th grade, the 4 factors of fair use in 7th. And you guys can see, and I love the filter bubble trouble for 12th grade that you can use with the students to help the students to see that we all tend to get in our filter bubbles and we need to try to get out of them if we can. So I can't emphasize all the great information that is on this site. So definitely check out Common Sense Media. I think you will find lots of things. And one thing I love about Common Sense Media, I don't know anyone that's busier than teachers are these days. And you guys have way too much to do. I sure don't envy you. And everything they have, everything you need is right there at your fingertips for you. For example, if I go into this one, you guys are going to see everything. You don't have to do any of the work. Just go and do it. It's got your what you'll need, your lesson slides, your handouts, your quizzes, putting it in Google Classroom, a family activity that you can have the students to do at home. I mean, it's got it all there for you. So definitely go in and check out Common Sense Media. I think if nothing else, you'll thank me for, if you don't already know about Common Sense Media. Also, Checkology. This is an excellent site. Normally, it's, well, there's a, I've not put anything on here today that's not free because I know that's important to teachers. Most of these sites have a paid version, but I got an email from Checkology the other day, and I think they're going to make this site free to everyone this year because of everything that's going on. So definitely check out Checkology as well. It's an excellent site as well. And then this is my last slide. This is my contact information here. You guys are right here. So you're in my region. And my email is just kdavis@ket.org. And if you have any questions after this, please feel free to email me and I will be glad to answer those questions. I also want to say that I'll be happy to do this like with your school faculties. Also, we offer this workshop for, we don't yet, but we're hoping to offer this workshop for students as well. I know that would be very difficult this school year, but keep that in mind for future, that we can come in and offer this workshop to you guys. So I'm going to, did anybody need to see anything else in the slides? I'm going to go back to the first slide. And here is your URL for this session. I also threw it in the chat. Feel free to use this. Like I said, make a copy of it and use it with change it in any way you would like to. Our only purpose at KET for doing these workshops is hopefully to spread the message out there and make our students and our adults as well more media literate. So I'm going to, if everyone has that now, I'm going to stop sharing. Well, I don't know what happened. Okay, can you guys see me? Okay now? Okay, so you guys can see and hear me now. Okay, any questions or comments or anything that you guys would like for me to talk about further? Thank you guys for for participating, and thank you for the messages in chat. That really helps me because once you share, I don't know if you guys have used Google Meet before that much to present your screen, but once you present your screen, you kind of lose touch with what's going on out there. Like I said, I set up my iPad so I could kind of see. So that's been very helpful that you guys have stayed active in the chat. So any questions, comments? Brandy, is there anything that you need to tell the participants? And you can put it in the chat, or you can just unmute yourself and ask any questions as well. Okay, if not, I think Brandy has put the session evaluation in the chat. I am doing the next session as well. I'm going to be doing PBS Learning Media, so I'd love to have you guys stick around and join that with me. And if not, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I hope to hear from you on how you're using teaching news media literacy in your classroom as well. Thank you, guys. Okay, for you guys that are in the session already, can you guys hear and see me okay? You can unmute and let me know, or just throw it in the chat that you can hear and see me okay. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, thank you very much. I am going to go ahead and present my screen now. You guys will see the presentation. Sorry about that, guys. I left the meeting instead of presenting my screen. Let's try this one more time. Can you guys still hear and see me okay? Just a yes in the chat will be good, or unmute your mic. Okay, great. Okay, thank you all so much. Let's try this one more time here. All right, that worked much better that time. Okay, I hit the wrong button and left the meeting instead of sharing my screen. Yes, I think that answer to the chat question, I think that Brandy New will pop a link in toward the end of the session for your sign in and for you to get credit for the session. Also, as we, well, actually, it's time now. So we'll go ahead and get started. I see we have quite a few people in here, so that's great. I'm going to go ahead and I am going to full view so you guys can see just a little bit better. I do have, if you've not used Google Meet and shared your screen, once you share your screen, you lose side of your participants in your chat. So I have opened up my iPad on the side and I can see the chat and you guys questions on it. So please, if you have any questions or whatever, pop that into the chat. Also at the bottom of this introduction slide is the bit.ly for this presentation. And so feel free to copy that, and I'll put that in the chat here. I put it in the chat at the start of the session as well. So feel free to use these slides in any way that you need to use them. And let me introduce myself real quickly while you guys get that bit.ly off of there. I am Kathy Davis, and I'm a KET education consultant for KET. And Hardin County is actually in my region, and that's the reason Brandy asked me to do this workshop for you guys. I love doing this workshop. I just did a media literacy workshop, and these are my two favorite ones that I get to do. I did tell the last session that I was so happy when all the schools went on NTI instruction last year, or last school year. It seems like 10 years ago, but it was actually in 2020. But last school year, that I think Hardin County had increased their use in PBS Learning Media probably more than any other district. So I was really happy to see that, and thank my media specialist for sharing and getting that out there and giving you guys the information. My email is kdavis@ket.org. There's my Twitter, just at Kathy Davis KET. So follow me if you want to know what's going on at KET. And also after today's session, and I'll probably say this again, but I want you guys to know, after today's session, please, if I don't get any questions answered in the chat, or you're using this service and you have questions, please feel free to email me and I will get back with you. So we'll go ahead and get started. Hopefully everyone has that. All of these, this slide right here, and I'm going to go ahead and go into KET education page. And for those of you guys that aren't familiar with it, I just want to take 2 or 3 minutes to go over what all is on our education page. It's just ket.org education, and it's also linked on that slide. But as you can see, this is where you can find PBS Learning Media. This is also where you can find our early childhood page, the consultants that cover the state, our Learning Home with KET Education. We set this up after NTI started last year, so there's lots of good information on there for you guys about how KET can help you with this remote learning. Also, our special resources, news quiz, and we're going to talk about that in just a little bit. Our Young Writers Contest that we do each year, check that out. Right now, we're in the process of a story summer contest. Check that out as well. This is also where you can find the Media Lab workshops. And that and many of you guys have probably done this, brought your kids, your students to KET and let them participate, say in GarageBand or green screen or animation, the different workshops that we do at KET. And Cynthia Warner is in charge of those. And I think she's going to try to do most of those virtually this year in a setting kind of like what we're in right now. If you guys are interested in that, and you'll be able to find all that information here. Also, our Multimedia Professional Development Day, which I'm sure a lot of you guys have participated in. You can find all that information here. In fact, that's going on today as we speak. But just lots of good things going on at KET. So just check out our homepage occasionally to see what all we have going on. And if you ever have any questions, feel free to contact me. I'm going to close a few of these tabs that had to do with my last workshop, so I don't get so confused here. And so let's go back to the slides, and that's just KET's homepage. Just wanted to show you around real quickly in it. Now we're going to go into PBS Learning Media. This is what PBS Learning Media looks like, the front page of it, and I have this link directly into PBS Learning Media. So the first thing I want to say about PBS Learning Media, it's fabulous because it's not a separate login now. So it already has me logged in as Kathy, but I'm going to go ahead and log out so you guys can see. And if you guys want to open up another tab and play along with this as I go along, or if you don't have an account, create one right now as we speak. Thank you, Rebecca, for throwing that link in the chat. But if you have never had an account before, you just go to sign up, or you can go sign in if you do. But we're going to go to sign up. We're going to pretend you guys don't have an account. And you can see here what we love. And this feature has not been around that long. It's been there for a while now. But you can just sign in through Google. So if you hit Google, it will take you in, and it will ask you which of your Google accounts you want to use. And then from that point on, you can just sign in through Google. I will say whatever you create your account in, like if you start signing in with Google, that's what you need to continue to sign in with. Okay. If you decide to sign up with an email account, this is what you will, this is all you have to fill out. It's really quick and easy to sign up that way as well. So I'm going to go ahead and sign in, and I'm going to sign in with my email because that's the way I started, and all of my stuff is under my email. And hope I can remember my password. And everybody crossed their fingers that that was correct. And it lets me in as Kathy. Okay, yes, I'm back in now. Okay, good. Okay, so this is what PBS Learning Media looks like. I hope some of you guys have already gone over to another tab and opened up an account. I want to take you guys for a quick tour of PBS Learning Media. And then I want to show you some of the resources in here that I really like. But the thing about PBS Learning Media, it has thousands and thousands of resources. So when you start using it, you might want to get organized from the start, or you'll find a resource and then you'll forget where that resource was, and it's hard to go back and find it again. The way that you can just, when you pull it up, it will take you across the curriculum. So if I want to see everything it has for mathematics, or I can go on over, if I want to see everything it has for health and PE, I can go over. So you can search that way, or you can search by subjects down here, or you can search by grade level. Or you can just go up here, and your pull down menus here, you can see in social studies is broken up into so many branches that if I just want to see what it has on economics, I can just click there. Or if I just want to see what it has on literature, I can click there. So you can search that way, or you can search here by grades, or you can search by standards, or there is also a student site where that students can use PBS Learning Media as well. A lot of teachers, especially the older grades, just go ahead and have their students to use just this version instead of the student version. You can check the student version out and see what you think would be better for your students. Or, as I like to say, you can just do a Google search pretty much. So if I, for example, want to search on this, and I don't know, COVID. So I just wanted, since that's a topic that everyone is interested in right now, I just can do that, and it will bring up the different things that it might have on the COVID and or COVID-19, and it found that resource. But once you find the resource, and that wasn't a good example because, of course, we don't have that much in there on that right now. But I'm going to go ahead and do, let's say, Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King Jr. So if I search on him, it's going to bring up, and I'm going to show you guys a bunch of the COVID-19 information here in just a minute. There's actually already some collections in here. So you guys will, I'm going to show you guys those collections in just a moment. And I was just noticing in the chat that Rebecca said the short link is not working. So she put the long link in there. Thank you, Rebecca. And I will try to correct that and see what's happening with that one. But anyway, when you go into there, you can see all the different things that it brings up for Martin Luther King. So I want to go, let's see, I like this one, and I want to go to it. So here are some things I'm going to show you that is going to make your life much, much easier. If you find a resource that you think you would like, with the click of one button, you can share it into your Google Classroom. And I know Google Classroom, Hardin County Schools uses Google Classroom extensively, and you can share with one button, go into the Google Classroom. Once you click that, it'll let you choose what classroom you want to put it in, instructions or whatever. So that's a really good feature for it to have. Also, it will show you what collection that came from. And a collection means there's lots of resources within there. So check your collections out. It will also let you see support materials. So there's already discussion questions developed for this, if you want to use those discussion questions. If you don't like those, you can copy and paste them and make them your own. But also, one thing I want to show you that's very important is you can favorite. So if I favorite, it turns it, darkens it, and then I can go over here and I can go to my favorites, and you will see that now is in my favorites. Now, this is what I was talking about, that you may want to go ahead and get organized and make sure that you go ahead and start favoring stuff so that you can go back and find your favorites, and then they will be there for you, and you don't have to, you won't lose them, or you can find them quickly that way. And as you can see, so another important thing I want to point out, if you guys will see out over here on my left, I've got all kinds of folders that I have created. And so if I want to create folders, which you will want to do, I can select the resources. Let's say I want to select these two resources. I can add them to my folder. I can add them to an existing folder I have, or I can say new folder, and I'll just title it HCS, and save my updates. And now if I refresh, I have a folder called HCS, and those two resources will be in that folder. So, and let's go down here and see if we see HCS. Should be there somewhere. There it is. And there are those two favorites, those two things in my folder. Once they're in your folder, then you can make notes. You can share them out. You can share them to your Google Classroom or do whatever you would like to do with them at that point. Also, under your name, it will there, you can go to your folders from there as well. And each folder has a unique URL, so you can also share these folders out like to your parents. If you've got a lot of resources on something and you want your parents to look at those resources, feel free to copy that link and share these out to parents or wherever that you would like to send them. I think that's a neat feature. And I think also this year with so much remote learning, this would be very helpful that, for example, you have a student that's doing the virtual learning or the remote learning, and you want them to look at, 4 resources on something you're teaching right now. You could stick them in a PBS Learning Media folder, and then you could share that folder out to the students or to the parents. So that's a nice feature that it has as well. If anybody has any questions at this point, and thank you, Rebecca, for apparently I messed up and put the one for the last session in there, and I apologize for that. But I'll straighten that out here in just a little bit. But okay, so if you have any questions, put them in the chat, and hopefully some of you guys have actually opened up an account and are following along with me. Also, right in PBS Learning Media, you will find that occasionally you get lost. You get so deep in there that you're not sure where to go next. So you can always hit this icon and it will take you back to the home page. Which that's helpful even for me as much as I work around in there. Okay, so the next thing I want to show you guys is I want to, I'm hoping I've shown you guys most of the things that I need to show you right now, but I'm going to go back to my slides, and I am going to go to the next slide. And this slide is connected to one of the collections that we've already got up on the coronavirus. So, and I have got this link actually out to PBS Learning Media to that collection. And as you guys can see, once again, if I decide that this is something that I want to use with my students, I can share it to my Google Classroom. And I have already favored this one. And you will see if you like this one on what is coronavirus, then you might also like these, and these are for the younger grades. And I forgot to mention that at the top, you can also tell, it will tell you what grades that it's for, and it will tell you what kind of resource it is, like whether it's a video, a lesson plan, a collection, or what it is. But in this collection of Meet the Helpers, you can also find wash your hands, social distancing, which is really good, what is a virus. So, and as you guys can see, these are short and sweet, which is the way we try to make all videos now. So check out this collection. I'll go ahead and go into the actual collection. And you can see all of these different things are in there. Okay, so hopefully that will be helpful with the younger students. And then next, I want to show you a collection. It's called, this is one of my favorite collections in PBS Learning Media. It is called Above the Noise, and I have also got it linked for you guys in the slides. And once again, you can see Above the Noise is already created just a separate category for COVID-19. And once again, you can throw it in your classroom, you can favorite it, but we'll go into the COVID-19. And this particular one is for grades 6 through 12. So this will be good with the older students. And you can see it already has some very, very timely topics in there that you might want to use with your students. And this goes back to the workshop that I did earlier on media literacy. There is so much false information and so much contradiction going on about what's going on in our world right now that these might be very helpful to show your students and stuff. So check these out. You will love the way Above the Noise collections are done as well. I love this one, how to handle family stress during the middle of all this. And I'm sure you guys as teachers could really use this one, because juggling it all, I don't know how that you are doing it. So check out this collection. It's a really, really good one. And now I want to go back into my slides, and I want to, all of these slides are linked. So I just want to go through these slides real quickly for you guys and show you some of the my favorite ones that are in there. And I know on this this Google Meet that we're on that I have all grade levels. So I tried to take this completely across the curriculum. This is one of my favorite ones. This is called Everyday Learning, and this is a collection that is for your younger students. It's basically for PK1. Some of them may go all the way up to 3. But this collection has everyday science. And the reason preschoolers is in the word is it was a grant, and that was required that we got the funds to create this with for these first 2. But there's preschool science. So here's some cute topics: how frog becomes a frog, which is a really, really cute one. And as you can see, all the topics that you guys teach in the younger grades. So this is a really neat collection. It's got everyday for math for preschoolers, Healthy Me are the health ones. Those may be some good ones right now that you can use with your students. I think there's one in here on hand washing and stuff. And then All Around Me are the social studies ones. So as you can see, riding the bus, let's make dinner, let's vote. That's a really good one for you guys with the election coming up in November. So as you family time, that would be a really good one right now. So as you guys can see, lots of cool topics that you guys cover with the little bitties. Okay, so check that collection out if you teach the younger grades. It's one of my favorite collections on here. And now let's talk about social studies. PBS NewsHour is on here, which is really good. And it's also timely for the older students. So as things are happening, for example, there's already all kinds of things on here about the protests. There's already all kinds of things on here about the COVID-19 and stuff. So check that one out. And all of these are linked. Like if you click on any of these, they are linked to that resource. Okay, so it will take you directly out to that resource. So, and as you can see, PBS NewsHour breaks it down to the different subject areas and stuff. Okay, so, and then this is one of my favorite ones, especially with the president's race coming up. And so you can go into it, and there's all kinds of information. This is one of my favorite resources on PBS Learning Media. You can go into 60-second presidents, students. I've used this with students, and they absolutely love this one. It has every president in 60 seconds that gives you all the basic details. And there's quite a few of us on here. I'm going to go ahead and try video as well. But one thing I want to show you guys about this one is here's your play button. If you like it, you can share it to your classroom. Also, a lot of the videos are done in Spanish. So if I want this to play in Spanish instead of English, I can just hit the Spanish button and it will play in Spanish. But I'm going to keep it on.
In 1835, someone tried to shoot Andrew Jackson. The president, who was 67, beat the guy senseless with his cane. You don't mess with Andrew Jackson. Born in 1767 in the Carolinas, Jackson grew up poor and tough as nails. He made a fortune in Tennessee as a lawyer and a landowner, then became a national hero in 1815 by whooping the British as the general at the Battle of New Orleans. He won the presidency in 1828, and he changed everything. Jackson believed the president was the direct representative of the common man. Like Thomas Jefferson, he wanted to keep the federal government weak and let the states have their say. Unlike Jefferson, he thought the best way to do that was a strong president. Earlier presidents vetoed bills only when they were unconstitutional. Jackson vetoed bills he didn't like. He blocked infrastructure projects, dismantled the National Bank, and replaced government employees with political friends. He went against the Supreme Court and had the Native Americans removed from their land in the South. He also took on his own vice president, John Calhoun, over tariffs. Enemies called him King Andrew and formed the Whig Party to take him on. Jackson left office in 1837, but he changed politics forever. And if you try to stay different, the ghost of Andrew Jackson will kick your you-know-what.
Okay, so that's a really fun one. I hope you guys could hear that okay. And that comment at the end, apparently, if you follow history and know Andrew Jackson well, he had a rather potty mouth. So that was in reference to that, which that was, I thought that was kind of cool. But they have done all the presidents up to, I think Barack Obama is on here now. They don't do presidents till they leave office. So Donald Trump isn't on here yet. But there is one for each one of the presidents. And then there's also, once again, there's support materials. So here there's background reading on Andrew Jackson, and there are handouts that you can use with this one. Okay, so I'm not going to show you many videos because usually it doesn't go too well on this platform, but hopefully that went pretty good for you guys. Also in social studies, KET does this. It's called News Quiz. We just got word the other day we are going to do News Quiz this year. It should, right now we think it's going to pick up production again after Labor Day. And as you guys can see, the last one that we did was March 14th of 2020. And these are excellent. We win awards for these every year. And it's a weekly program that covers the current events, what else going on right now. So it's a really, really timely thing. It has the support materials to go with it. It has vocabulary for that show, further information for everything they covered for that show, and then a quiz for each one of them that, again, you can just copy and paste or put in your Google Classroom or do however you would like to do it. So definitely check out News Quiz, one of my favorite programs that we have. And I keep saying that, don't I? But anyway, I like all of our programs. Also in social studies, and I promise I'm not going to go into all of these, but American Masters is a really good one. And again, these are all linked for you guys. American Icons. All of our Ken Burns stuff gets rave reviews. So all of that is in PBS Learning Media. And then I do want to mention this one. I don't know how many social studies people I have on this, but this is a really good resource that we have. Actually, I wish KET had created this one. We did not. WNET out of New York created this one, but we really like to promote it because it's really good stuff. And I'm actually going to go on this one. I'm actually going to go to the website. It takes you out to the website. And what they have done is they have created games, educational games to go with these different things that have happened in U.S. history. And the student gets on there and they start the game. They become the main character of the game. And for example, this one right here is Flight to Freedom. It's about Underground Railroad, and it's really, really good. And it teaches the students so much. And Lucy, a 13-year-old slave girl who actually lives in Lexington, Kentucky, which we really like, is trying to make the decision whether she wants to escape to freedom over in Ohio or not. And what the game is set up so that the students make all the decisions for Lucy. And so depending on what decisions they make for her depends on whether or not she actually tries to escape, whether or not she actually makes it to freedom, or if she gets caught, or what happens to her family and stuff. So it's excellent. And I have watched students play this. And I will tell you guys, I don't know how many of you guys know her, but Lorraine Lormeyer, who used to teach in Hardin County schools, I think she's in Bullitt County now. She won National Mission U.S. Teacher of the Year and won a free trip to New York City because of the way that she was using this game in her classroom. She was up at you all's northern school. I can't think of the name of it right now. Somebody throw it in the chat for me. The one up close to, not too far from Fort Knox. Oh, that's awful. I can't, Meadowview, I think. Anyway, I can't think of it right now. No, it wasn't Woodland. It was, I'll think of it in a minute and I'll tell you guys. If anybody else can think of it, let me know. I've done several trainings up that way. But anyway, Meadowview, that was it. Okay. Okay, yes, that was it. So Woodland was, okay, gotcha. Okay, so, but it was Meadowview, and she did a fabulous job with the way she used the program. But everyone that uses this resource really likes it. This one is coming soon, and Prisoner in My Homeland, and I can't wait to see it and how they do it. This is usually recommended for grades, for middle grade, like 5th grade through 8th grade. 4th graders can definitely use it. And also this one right here on immigration, I've heard a lot of high school teachers, especially freshman teachers, that really like this one to use at the high school level. So check out Mission US. It's a really, really good one. Okay, and then we'll change over to English and Language Arts. There's some good ones in there. Middle school literacy, lots in that. News and media literacy collection. I can't emphasize this one enough. I used this one in my last set, or I don't even know if I remember to mention it in my last session, to be honest with you. But there are lots of good resources in here on fake news, fact checking, and navigating the web. And once again, you can throw it in your Google Classroom if you like it and want to use it. So really, really good stuff in there. If you're a high school English teacher and you cover Shakespeare, here is a really good one for you that kind of makes Shakespeare so students can understand it. Another excellent one for high school language arts. These are some of the ones for younger grades for the language arts. And you guys are probably familiar with these. This one, No Nonsense Grammar, I really like it. I think we need to teach grammar more, but that's just a personal bias I have. But as you can see, it covers the different areas of grammar, and it's little short, most of them less than a minute, and it helps with common grammar mistakes like using there, and there, and how to use them correctly and stuff. So this is a really good one to help you with teaching grammar, and it does it in a real fun, cute way that the students enjoy. Then also, again, our Young Writers Contest, our Story Summer Contest, and then Poetry Everywhere if you're teaching a poetry unit. And then on science, this is, and I keep saying this is one of my favorite ones, but It's Okay to Be Smart is a really, really good one. This is also for the middle grades and high school. And as you can see, it takes it across the curriculum and does some really cool, middle school students really, really like this one. Let's go to food and behavior. And I'm just going to scroll. Is your brain too old for video games? Helps explain why sometimes younger people are better at video games than older people. As you can see, a slice of pizza science talks all about why are some people left-handed. Does my dog know what I'm thinking? How many smells can you smell? So as you guys can see, things that this one would be great with what's going on, why vaccines work, that explains to the kids in a real easy manner how vaccines work. So this one would be really timely. So you guys might want to favor it right now if you're going along with me. But as you can see, lots of things that the kids are curious about and interested in, and it does it in a really fun way that the students really enjoy. And then the good stuff, Nova, all the Nova collections are in here for you guys that are familiar with Nova, some really good stuff in Nova. Some more things. This one, this Dissection 101 does virtual dissections of a number of different animals. Cow's eye, clam, an earthworm, heart, squid, sea stars and different things. So this one, you might want to check it out. And then careers are so important now. So here's a really good one on cool careers in science. Math is harder with video than some of the other ones, but we have some pretty good stuff in here with math. Math Mess, the kids like that one. This one, Math at the Core, KET actually created this one. And as you guys can see, it you can open it up by grade levels and like go to what all we have for 7th grade in there. And then it will bring up for you the different resources for 7th grade. And a lot of this has to do with word problems and showing them how to do word problems and stuff. So it's a resource that the math teachers may want to check out. Here are some more. I think I've got that one in there twice. For the media arts and the arts, here are some good things that we have. Off Book is one of my, is another one of my favorite collections that we have in here. Let me go back. It takes like, for example, is 3D printing going to change the world? And of course, we know eventually it probably will. Again, the Media Arts Toolkit, this one is really good to help you with teaching media arts in your classroom and for media literacy as well. And what we did on this one, and we continue to do, is we go out and find teachers in the state that are doing really cool stuff with the media arts and video them and show what real teachers are doing with real students in the state of Kentucky. So that one might be really cool for you guys. All the, for my art teachers, if I have any art teachers on here on this call right now, all the arts toolkits are now online and found in PBS Learning Media. So I have linked all of the toolkit, the arts toolkits up. So if you're teaching visual arts, dance, drama, or music, this might be a really helpful thing for you. And then world language and global competency. There's lots of resources for that. And now, what Brandy had asked us to make these as interactive as possible, and sometimes that's kind of hard. So what I want you guys to do now is I'm going to turn it back over into your corner, and I want you to open up another tab. I want you to log into PBS Learning Media. Most of you guys will probably choose to log in through your Google. Think of a topic that you're going to be covering here in the next, few months, and I've got on here 3 resources. I won't make you guys go that far, but find a good resource that you could use, 3 if you find them real quickly, and then create a folder and put those resources in your folder. And then I want you to share out to the chat one of the resources that you found that you really like, so everyone else on here can check it out as well. So I'm going to give you guys about 10 minutes to do that. And I'll keep up with chat here and try to answer you guys on chat. I'm going to stop sharing my screen so I can do that better. And then we'll look at the chat and see what some good resources you guys found, and then we'll wrap it up probably about 20 after. So if you guys will do that now, that will be great. And also, guys, feel free to unmute your mic and communicate that way as well, just one at a time, hopefully. And we have about 58 people on here, so I think that will work okay. And guys, when I just put the new link to the presentation in the slides, the short one is working for me, so I'm not sure if it's Hardin County. You all don't have the short ones blocked, I know, so I'm not sure, but grab that link that I just put into the chat and that will take you to the slides. Pamela, how do I save my folder? That's a good question. I should know that, right? Let me go into it. I have to be doing it. Okay, great. Some people are saying the Bitly worked and some did not. So just one way or the other, hopefully you guys get the link. And if something and you don't get it on this session, go ahead and email me and I will send you the link by email as well. Let me go back to okay, so I have people saying that they found things and they forgot how to share the folder. So let me share my screen one more time and show you guys how to to create and save your folder. Okay, so I am going to go
Miss Davis, you're muted. We can't hear you.